In the heart of the towering pines lived Caleb, the timber cruiser. Known throughout the small town for his bravery, Caleb spent his days navigating the dense forest, ensuring its health while providing lumber for the local families. His deep connection to the woods was evident. He could read the signs of nature like a book, knowing when a storm was coming or where animals roamed. Caleb's background was simple but rich in experience. He was raised by his grandfather, who taught him the ways of the forest and instilled in him a love for the land. As a young boy, he often wandered through the trees, learning their secrets and forging friendships with the wildlife. Because of this bond, Caleb became the go-to person in town during emergencies, whether it was rescuing lost hikers or helping neighbors prepare for storms. His role in the community went beyond just timber. The townsfolk trusted Caleb not only for his skills but also for his kind heart. They knew he would always lend a hand when someone was in trouble. Little did they know that this very trust would soon lead him into an unexpected and dangerous adventure involving a preacher's wife, wildfire, and bandits with a dark claim. As the sun dipped below the horizon, a dark shadow loomed over the peaceful town. A gang of bandits, notorious for their ruthless tactics, had set their sights on the preacher's wife. These men were not just outlaws. They thrived on intimidation and fear, striking terror in the hearts of the townsfolk. Rumors swirled about their leader, a sneering man named Thorn, whose cruel smile sent shivers down anyone's spine. The bandits claimed that the preacher had hidden away a trove of gold, tithe money meant for charity, that he buried long ago. They believed it rightfully belonged to them since they had once been part of his congregation before turning to crime. With no morals or empathy, they threatened the preacher's wife, insisting she could pay off her husband's supposed debt. Their demands grew more aggressive as they attempted to frighten her into revealing the location of the gold. Their presence cast a dark cloud over the community. People grew anxious, locking their doors at night and whispering about what might come next. The bandits' greed drove them to commit unspeakable acts, and it became clear that they would stop at nothing to get what they wanted, placing innocent lives at risk in their quest for wealth. The tranquility of the town was shattered when dark clouds started to gather overhead, carrying with them a fierce wind. Without warning, flames erupted from the underbrush in the nearby forest, sparking a wildfire that spread like a roaring beast unleashed. The once serene landscape quickly transformed into a hellish scene of crackling fire and swirling smoke. Caleb was out checking the timber when he caught sight of the orange flames licking upward into the trees. Panic surged through him as he realized how close the fire was to both the forest and the homes of his neighbors. The acrid smell of smoke filled the air, making it difficult to breathe. As he hurried back to town, he could see the frantic rush of townspeople gathering supplies and shouting warnings to one another. Fear hung heavy in the air as families scrambled to evacuate. Children cried, and adults shouted instructions as they raced to pack their belongings. The growing inferno threatened everything in its path, and Caleb knew every second counted. He had to reach the preacher's wife before it was too late, not only because of the wildfire but also because of the lurking danger posed by the bandits amid the chaos. Inside her modest home, the preacher's wife, Sarah, felt the heat of the wildfire creeping closer. Determined to save her family's cherished belongings, she frantically gathered photographs and keepsakes, her heart racing as the flames crackled ominously outside. The thick smoke began filling the room, making it hard for her to breathe. She knew she had to act quickly. As she opened the door to escape, a wall of fire greeted her, roaring loudly and illuminating the darkening sky. Panic surged through her veins, but Sarah's spirit remained unyielding. She took a deep breath and tried to assess her options. The flames were encircling her home like wild beasts, but she refused to succumb to fear. With sheer bravery, she set out toward the back of the house, where she hoped to find a way through the chaos. The scorching heat lashed against her skin as she maneuvered through the smoke-filled air. Despite the danger, Sarah held tight to a precious family Bible, knowing that it represented hope and faith. Just when it seemed that escape was impossible, she spotted a narrow path leading away from the flames. With resolve in her heart, she dashed toward it, praying for safety while desperately hoping that help would arrive in time. Caleb raced through the smoke-filled streets, his heart pounding in his chest as he heard desperate cries and frantic warnings. The fire blazed closer to town, but one thought consumed him. Sarah, the preacher's wife, was in danger. He had seen her determination earlier, but now he realized the peril she faced with the wildfire and the threat from the bandits looming over her. He spotted a group of townspeople huddled together, their faces pale with fear. Caleb quickly approached them, seeking information. "Where is Sarah?" he demanded, urgency etched on his face. Someone pointed to her home, now framed by thick smoke and flames crackling ominously. Without a second thought, Caleb made his decision. He couldn't leave her there. She had helped countless families, and now it was his turn to help her. Knowing the risks were high, he steadied his resolve. He took a deep breath and dashed toward the fiery inferno, recalling every pathway through the trees he had memorized. As he navigated through the chaos, he felt both fear and purpose surge within him. He would not let the flames claim her. With every step closer to her home, Caleb reaffirmed his determination to rescue Sarah, fueled by the belief that courage could conquer even the fiercest fire. As Caleb dashed through the thickening smoke, he suddenly found himself face to face with Thorn and his bandits, who emerged like shadows from the chaos. The group, grimy and fierce-looking, blocked the path to Sarah's home. Thorn's eyes glinted with malice as he sized up Caleb, a smirk spreading across his lips. Well, if it isn't the town's precious timber cruiser," Thorn taunted, stepping closer. "What brings you to this little firestorm? Looking for buried treasure?" The other bandits chuckled darkly. Caleb's heart raced, but he stood firm. "I'm not here for any gold. I'm here for Sarah," he shot back, his voice steady despite the fear gnawing at him. "You need to let her go." Thorn laughed, a low, cruel sound that echoed in the smoldering air. "Oh, but she owes us, boy. That gold is rightfully ours, or she'll pay the price." He gestured dismissively, and two bandits moved closer, ready for a fight. Caleb felt the weight of the moment. Every second lost could mean disaster. Summoning all his courage, he kept his gaze locked on Thorn. "You can't intimidate me. I will save her." The tension crackled like the flames around them, and Caleb prepared himself for whatever was about to happen next. With unwavering determination, Caleb pushed forward into the heart of the wildfire's chaos. He remembered the paths he had traversed countless times as he navigated through thick smoke that stung his eyes and filled his lungs. Each step felt like a battle against the raging flames that crackled hungrily around him. Using his intimate knowledge of the forest, he veered off the main path, seeking lower ground where the flames were less intense. He recalled how fire tended to rise, and by following a small creek bed, he could stay out of sight from both the fire and any lurking bandits. As he crouched low, splashes of water from the creek splattered his face, refreshing him for the struggle ahead. Suddenly, the ground beneath him shifted, and a fallen branch fell just inches away. Heart racing, Caleb quickly scanned for alternatives. Spotting a dense thicket nearby, he slipped through, using it as cover while keeping an ear out for Sarah's voice amidst the roaring elements. Each direction posed a risk. He had to be cautious and clever. But Caleb's resolve only strengthened with every challenge. He was determined to reach Sarah before time ran out, trusting that his skills as a timber cruiser would guide him safely through the inferno. As the heat of the flames pricked at her skin, Sarah steeled herself against the chaos. Trapped in the thick smoke, she refused to be paralyzed by fear. With each coughing breath, she clutched the family Bible tightly, feeling its comforting weight remind her of hope and faith. She had always believed that help would come, and she needed to be ready. Using her ingenuity, Sarah gathered whatever belongings she could salvage. A quilt, a hatchet, and a small jar filled with memories. She knew they were just things, but they held stories of laughter, love, and strength. As she packed, her resolve grew stronger. She couldn't let the flames consume her spirit. Though fear nagged at her heart, she took a moment to listen for sounds beyond the crackling fire. She focused on her breathing, trying to quiet the doubts swirling in her mind. "Caleb will come," she whispered to herself, picturing his steady presence and unwavering determination. Drawing upon her inner strength, Sarah made a plan to escape as soon as she saw a chance. Wiping the sweat from her brow and taking another deep breath, she reminded herself that resilience was her greatest weapon. No matter how daunting the odds seemed, she would fight for her life until the very end. Caleb pushed forward, adrenaline coursing through him as he darted from the thicket toward the preacher's home, now a ring of hellfire. The air was thick with smoke, but his determination burned brighter. As he reached the edge of the property, he spotted Thorn and his bandits lurking nearby, their eyes scanning for any movement. Using the dense trees as cover, Caleb devised a plan. He grabbed a handful of dirt and threw it toward the bandits, creating a cloud that briefly obscured their line of sight. "Now's my chance," he muttered to himself and sprinted towards the house, knowing Sarah was trapped inside. Just as he reached the door, flames erupted around him in a fierce roar. Caleb could feel the heat sear his skin, but he pressed on, bursting through the entrance. Inside, Sarah's eyes lit up with relief at the sight of him. "Quick, we need to leave," she urged, clutching her Bible. As they turned to escape, Thorn and his gang reappeared, blocking their way. Time was running out. The fire crackled dangerously close behind them. Caleb quickly assessed their options and shouted over his shoulder to Sarah, "Follow me. We can use the back route." In that heart-stopping moment, they dashed toward what might be their only chance to outrun both the wildfire and the bandits standing in their path. Caleb and Sarah stumbled out of the flaming chaos, breathless and shaken but alive. The smoke slowly cleared as they reached a safe distance, and the reality of their survival washed over them like a cool breeze. Tears filled Sarah's eyes as she turned to Caleb, gratitude shining in her expression. "I knew you would come," she whispered, enveloping him in a fierce embrace. Caleb held her tightly, feeling a sense of relief that washed away the fear he'd felt during the harrowing moments before. "We made it," he murmured, glancing back at the fire still raging in the distance. Their hearts raced in unison as they realized how close they had come to losing everything. News of their bravery quickly spread throughout the town. Inspired by Caleb and Sarah's courage, the community rallied together to help each other recover from the devastation. They shared stories of heroism and resilience, igniting hope in everyone's hearts. As they stood side by side, watching others begin to rebuild their lives, Caleb felt a deep sense of purpose. Their actions had not only saved them but also sparked a spirit of unity in their small town. In that moment, they both understood that true bravery was not just about facing danger but also about inspiring others to do the same. In the days following the wildfire, the community rallied together with a renewed spirit. The destruction left behind was heartbreaking, but amidst the rubble, hope began to blossom. Caleb and Sarah took on leadership roles, organizing volunteers to help clear debris and provide support to those who had lost their homes. Neighbors came forth with tools and supplies, forming teams to rebuild houses and restore lives. From dawn till dusk, laughter mingled with determination as families worked side by side, sharing meals and stories while they toiled. Each nail driven into would symbolize not just reconstruction but resilience, their shared struggles knitting them closer together. Local businesses offered discounts for rebuilding materials, while farmers contributed food for the workers. Children pitched in too, gathering donations or assisting with small tasks, eager to help their families and friends recover. As they witnessed acts of kindness, many found inspiration in the bravery displayed by Caleb and Sarah during the crisis. As weeks turned into months, homes took shape again, but more importantly, so did a stronger sense of community. The fire had taken much from them, yet it also ignited a spirit of cooperation that would long outlast the flames. They emerged not just as survivors but as a united family ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead together. As the sun set over the recovering town, Caleb and Sarah stood together outside the community center, watching their neighbors share stories and laughter. The experiences they had faced, the wildfire, the bandits, were fresh in their minds, but what resonated most was the profound impact of their shared courage. Caleb turned to Sarah, his voice filled with reflection. "I used to think bravery was just about facing danger head-on, But now I realize it's also about standing up for what's right and being there for others. He glanced at their friends working side by side. It's about the friendships we build and how we support one another. Sarah nodded, her heart swelling with pride for the community. We've seen darkness, but we also witnessed incredible kindness. It shows that no matter how tough things get, there's always light if we look for it together. She smiled softly. That resilience we found in ourselves and in each other is a strength I'll carry forever. Their eyes met, understanding passing between them. They knew that true courage wasn't just about surviving the fire. It was about nurturing hope and cooperation among their community in the face of adversity. They had learned that together, they could conquer anything.